Hi, everyone. Here's my disclaimer. The views of the guest may not represent those of the host of the station. Please consult your primary care physician for any information that you might be concerned about and the advice that might be mentioned during this interview. And I have two public service announcements, but before I do that, let me introduce myself. Hi, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate Rural Talk Radio, where our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. Now, my public service announcements. It is the beginning of November, and I cannot believe it's November. In November, there's two special awarenesses that are going on. One is it's National Family Caregivers Month. And if you know a caregiver, which I'm sure most of you probably do, please reach out to a caregiver, even if it's a text to say, hi, how you doing? It takes a village of support for a caregiver to get through their journey. And if you are cooking, make something extra and bring it to a caregiver that you know. I'm sure they would greatly appreciate it. And folks, if you're not already a caregiver or have been one, you will be or you will need one. And that's the fact. And I also want to mention that November is also National Alzheimer's Awareness Month. Those who have experienced the journey of taking care of someone, we will never forget it. It's the public I want to be made aware of. It is the number 6 killer. I highly recommend the public, the audience, educating yourself about Alzheimer's because somebody you know is bound to have it. There is no cure. There is no treatment. Please, if you have any concerns about your memory, please tell your primary care physician. And those of you who do have Alzheimer's or any other dementia, please speak up. Those of you who were caregivers or are caregivers, speak up, show your journey, put a name and a face to this disease, and let the public see it. I post my journey. You could go on my page, Betsy E. Wurzel, W-U-R-Z-E-L, and you will see videos of my husband, Matt, who had early onset Alzheimer's. And that's my public service announcements. I want to introduce to you a fine young man who reached out to me and wanted to be a guest and chatting with Betsy, and I'm so grateful. I truly admire my guest today. Sam Mitchell has Asperger syndrome, and he has a saying, he doesn't need to be fixed. He's not broken. And guess what? He's right. He's perfect the way he is. Sam Mitchell is host of the podcast Autism Rocks and Rolls. He has a 501c3 nonprofit, Autism Rocks and Rolls Corporation. He was a TEDx speaker. He's a motivational speaker, a podcast guest and host, an entrepreneur. He is an educational writer and a blogger. He's an educator and trainer for businesses or employment about autism. And he teaches about autism. And folks, you're in for a treat today. I want to welcome Sam Mitchell to Chatting with Betsy.
Hey,
welcome, Sam.
Steve. Thank you.
You are welcome. Sam, you are one fascinating young man, and I really admire you, and thank you for coming on my show. Folks, I'm going to tell you this right now. Go on to Sam's podcast, Autism Rocks and Rolls, because it's a phenomenal show. I listened to his interview with Forbes Riley, and Forbes Riley is a very awesome motivational speaker, and it was a great interview, and I do want to listen to the interview with Temple Grandin, who invented a more humane way of cows, and just amazing what she went through with her autism. And I have to say, Sam, kudos to you. I'm going to ask you, how did you begin your podcast?
Well, okay, we can get into that. So it really started, I joined my high school's media club, not a class, it was a club. People always get that wrong for some reason. And ever since then, I just fell in love with it, and I decided to continue my media skills because I can't be in school forever. So the only way I knew to continue my media skills was to start my own podcast, and that was when Autism Rocks and Rolls was born.
I love that. And how did you start your nonprofit? And why did you start it? I think it's awesome.
It kept growing. That's the honest answer. Is it kept growing and people got behind the mission, and now I have sponsors and have a board of 4 who want to help me out and get to speak at certain places like schools, conferences, and it's pretty great.
That is cool. So your nonprofit, do you educate and you also raise awareness on the autism spectrum?
Yep. I mean, I have a lot of speaking gigs. The way I do it, that's what really is the educator right there. I speak about bullying. I speak about everyone being different. That's fine. I speak about just my way of life and my views as well. It's just that I think we all need to be a little more accepting, and that's what I hope my audience leaves with, whether that be students, people at the conferences, or wherever I speak.
Yes, I really liked I think it was your TEDx, where you showed the video of a what they call it, the pinball machine. That's what it is. I just went blank. And how your mind is like that, going in all directions. You need, you talk about needing structure and how that helps you. You like routine. I understand, and I get that because my son is on a spectrum, and routine was very, very important to him, extremely important, and comforting to him. So do you find having a routine comforting to you?
When it comes to, yeah, probably back when I was younger, not as much now. I'm pretty much a laid-back person today, but I would say that I still have structure when it comes to something I love, like a job or something that's important. But when it's something that's not important, I'm pretty laid back.
Yes, yeah. My son is getting much better. I told him when he was younger, maybe I shouldn't have told him this, but I used to tell him, Josh, because he had to know, like when we went to the mall, what we were going to do, what was the order. And he liked to order, and he liked to schedule. And I would always, if we would plan a certain day we would do something, I would have to tell him, Josh, all plans are subject to change. If it snows or it's raining heavy and I can't go. How did your mom deal with it? With you needing the structure?
Probably, I would say, I have to say that what she did was probably helped out to her fullest extent. It was just there. She helped me understand, explain ways that probably helped me as a child, or did something, or just try to fix it as much as she could. An example of that is we were going to go watch Formation with my friends, but I don't think Mother Nature wanted to do it. So her and I came up with the alternative, and that was when the best alternative at the time frame was we went to the arcade that used to exist in Bedford, Indiana, that sadly has torn down.
I think I have to ask you this question, Sam, because routine for my son Josh was very important to him. When the pandemic happened, routine was just totally went out the window. No job, no socialization. It was very tough for him, very difficult for him. And he also had lost his father right before COVID. How was it for you during the pandemic when you couldn't socialize and have your usual routine that you did? I mean, you could still do your podcast, but as far as going to school, college.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well. I basically went to bed for a couple of days because I was like, I wasn't going to survive. Thankfully, I did the best I could because the two options were I could lay in bed till it calmed down, or I could just try to get up. And I think I chose to get up because I wanted to stay productive in some way or shape or form. I don't know how I did, but I figured out ways to.
I would like for you to tell the audience, because I think the audience needs to hear from you, Sam. What would you like people to know on Asperger's and how everyone wants to be accepted for who they are. Everybody does. And I really would like for you to explain Asperger's, if you don't mind, to the audience, because some people probably never heard of it.
Well, I mean, Asperger's is just a higher functioning standard of autism in a sense of what it really is. So I want them to know that just because we're higher functioning doesn't mean we don't struggle, and we shouldn't be held to higher standards rather than the middle functioning or the low functioning. Functioning is just a word. Whether you're low, middle, or high, you're still functioning regardless, but we still struggle no matter what our functioning level is.
Yes, and social skills is a big one. I know from my own son and his experience. Did you go to any? I took Josh to a group social skills, but my son, he's not the he doesn't have Asperger's. He's like kind of like in the middle range. He had trouble transferring what he learned in the social skills group into everyday life. Did you go to any social skills training groups?
No, I went to several camps and definitely did my best with that, but I did not. My parents wanted me to learn on my own.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, everyone's different. What are you majoring in college?
Right now it's business administration, and then hopefully I'm going to transfer to Vincennes for media or something in the media realm.
I could picture you having a job in the media, Sam. Yeah, I definitely can because, I love the name of your podcast, Autism Rocks and Rolls, because you do rock and roll it, Sam. You really do. And I think it's just awesome. I think people need to see that there are various types and ranges of autism. And, somebody might have trouble reading social cues. I know my son Josh did. Do you still have difficulty with that, with the social skills?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll say something that doesn't make any sense, but in my head it made 100% sense. And then social cues, body language. Yeah, I had to ask, well, are they really trying to do this? Are they really? I have tons of questions about it. But, yeah, I still have to play that game.
Yes, yeah. It's really difficult. When my son was in middle school, and I want to hear about your middle school years. When my son was in middle school, he was confronted by two classmates. And they said, Josh, go tell this classmate that his mom is fat. And if you don't, we're going to beat you up. Well, instead of Josh saying, I'm not going to do your dirty work or go to a teacher, he went over to the boy, to his classmate, and said, your mom is fat. And guess what that kid did? He hit Josh. So that boy got in trouble, and the other two boys, and I had to explain to Josh, you don't do anyone's dirty work. You can't say that to someone because this is what will happen. Did you have experiences like that, Sam, in middle school especially? That's when kids, I think, are the worst.
Well, thankfully, I would probably say so. I probably did, and I probably didn't realize it knowing me. I don't remember much of that. I've slept since then. But I would say that, yes, I did have that experience, and I did probably do someone's dirty work when I probably should not have. Don't remember a time off the top of my head. But at that time, I was, for the majority, liked. Well, I was respected, but I don't think I was liked too well. And because of that reason, and because of what I previously did, and just because of the class I was in, because I'm going to be real with you, my class, the majority were just mean people. So I said, all right, I see what's going on here. I'm just going to stay out of trouble and do my thing and head home to where I can feel safe and feel I can be myself regardless of who I am and not be judged.
Yes, yes. Can you speak about the bullying? Because people, I was bullied when I was young, and it had stayed with me for many years. And bullying leaves scars. And I know, people who are a little different, they do get bullied. And I wished it wasn't that way, but unfortunately it is. Can you speak about bullying? What would you like the public to know about bullying?
Well, like you said, how old are you, by the way? I don't mean to ask this. I'll explain why in a minute.
I'm 64. I'll be 65 next month, and I was bullied.
Scars still stick with you. So bullying still sticks with you regardless of your age. So
yes.
If you choose to bully someone, okay, there'll be consequences for you, and you're going to be the one on the joke because the other person is probably going to get to a lot of a better place than you did. And it still sticks with you regardless of your age. It stuck with you, and you're 64. But I would also want them to know that it's not your fault. You're not the one should be ashamed of getting bullied. I mean, you don't have to be ashamed of getting bullied because it's the other person's fault. They're just trying to ruin you. And whether they do that, though, that's up to you.
Yeah, that's. I'll tell you the story, Sam. It's kind of funny now. My son belongs to a social group. It's called Buddy Night. And a few years ago, one of the women who was running it, I went to grammar school with. And I said, hey, Deborah, do you remember me? And she said, yes. And she told Josh she was made fun of. I was made fun of. I was made fun of because I was tiny, and she was made fun of because she was very big for her age. She was a big girl, tall, and she was heavy. And we were the last two, always the last two to get picked on gym teams. Me and Deborah, last ones. So she told Josh, yeah.
Probably the last one for me, probably the last person to be picked on teams as well. Probably thought I was a nuisance.
Yeah, it's very hurtful, at that age. And it does stay with you. I'm sure the people, if they knew what I do now, would be very shocked that I interview people because of being bullied, it made me very shy. It made me very insecure. I didn't want to speak up. I remained small as far as being my own person because I didn't want attention because of being bullied.
That's the opposite. I was bullied.
You're the opposite.
I was bullied. I was more of a defensive and more of an angry person. Not now, granted, but I guess you could say I'm a bit defensive still because I don't want to put up with it. I don't put up with others' crap. There have been times where I've literally had to hold my fist to my clothes.
I think that people do deal with bullying different, and it might be a difference between males and females how they deal with it. I think that people should just be more accepting, and what really bothers me, Sam, is when I see adults, and I have seen this, egg on boys and girls who are bullying others. They're like encouraging it, and that should not be at all. As adults, I would hope people would set a better example and not bully and not teach that to their children.
Yeah,
I have seen...
Not anyone grows up. Growing up is not for everyone.
Right. Did you go for any counseling to deal with the bullying?
Probably. Yeah, I did. Well, let me think. Yeah, I did, but it didn't help. And because all I see are counselors, and I don't have anything against them. They're great, help a lot of people. But for me, therapy doesn't help because all it is nagging. Because the majority of therapy to me is nagging. It's like, okay, I know the problem. If all we do is discuss it, you're wasting my time. Because I want a plan of action.
Yeah. Yes. And therapy, I feel, should have a plan of action to help someone solve a problem, solve the situation. So I can understand that. Do you have, are you employed other than your, nonprofit?
No.
What was that?
I said no.
No. I know my son was employed, his first job at a high school. My son went to special ed high school. The company they started off okay, and then they got nasty, and they picked the wrong one. The manager was really nasty. She didn't let my son have his job coach, and she did not work with his hours that he said that he was available, which was on his application. And I told Josh he was making him too nervous, and I said, leave that job. Well, you'll find another one. And I called up the 800 number, and I reported that manager. And I said, if you're going to hire people who have disabilities, then you need to work with them and let them have their job coach. And I said, what happened was wrong.
In your case, it's not interrupt, but in your case, it's simple. You work with them, or you don't work with them at all, and they'll find someone else who has more patience and, I guess, tolerance, if that's the right word.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So I don't know if it was a coincidence that shortly after that they had all new people working in that store. So I'm glad they got rid of that one. The manager was even nasty to the job coach and told her, you can't come in here. You're not allowed. And I think that might even be against the law. I'm not sure. But really nasty. So Josh got a job as a bus aide. He can't drive. And so it's in walking distance. And they have a lot of people with disabilities working for them, and they're wonderful. They are wonderful people, and they really were very nice in working with Josh when his dad was sick. So there are places who are very good in hiring people who have disabilities and who are understanding. And I just want to tell the audience, if you have someone in your family that has a disability and their employer gives them a hard time, you can report them. Report them to the state. Report them to the 800 ethic hotline if they have one. But that should not be tolerated. And I say this all the time, Sam. When we see an injustice, we have to speak up or things won't change. And I know you speak up. How do you feel about that, Sam?
Well, I agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of movements out there that have had changed because of them speaking up, and I would agree with that statement 100%. This is a movement, and I can see it changing day by day. It's not the job of done. Oh, we're all accepting, yay. No, it's not that, but it's going to get there with this movement and day by day, if I keep going and I keep saying that, okay, this is the deal, basically accept it or get away from me.
Yes, that's right. I'm really glad to see that there's more advocacy with autism. Many different advocacy groups and education out there. Back, because my son is 38, and I knew when he was a baby, I knew when he was 6 months old, that something was amiss. Not that I didn't love my son, I just knew that something was not quite right. And, I was told I was an overprotective mother and that Josh was lazy. I mean, I just love how they blame the mom or the child, like it's your fault. They used to say.
That's sometimes they just don't work when it's their job.
Yeah. Yeah, they used to say to mothers way back when, with children with autism, they used to say that the mothers were cold. They weren't loving. Well, that's not true. That's not true at all. But just breaking the myths and dispelling the myths, I should say, and the education out there, I'm so glad it is out there now, and I'm grateful for you, Sam, who's speaking up. You're telling people, hey, this is my deal. This is who I am. And I just love that you say that you're not broken and you don't need to be fixed. And how did you come to that conclusion? Because you're absolutely right.
Well, the majority of the podcast episode was talking about that in the first few, very first few, the beginning of it. That's what we realized. That's what the more of it was talking about it. And we kind of changed the direction of it. Instead of talking about the behaviors, now we're talking about why that no one's broken.
I like that. What would you like people to know, Sam, is how you and so many others want to be treated out in society? I say everyone deserves to be treated with respect and dignity and not to judge. And I would like for you to talk about that. Tell the people how you want to be treated, how people with anyone, whether they have Asperger's or not, should be treated.
I just want respect. Honestly, at least respect. You don't have to be the paparazzi taking photos. I don't care about that. But let me at least walk in peace without your leg out.
Sam, can you speak closer to the microphone?
Yeah, I got you. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Basically, what I said is,
there you go.
I just want respect. I'm not asking for the paparazzi kind of like, oh my goodness. No, I'm not asking for that. But I'm really asking is at least let me walk in peace without someone sticking their leg out and tripping me.
Right. Yes. I have seen the gamut of how people look at others who are different. My husband had Alzheimer's, and he had trouble walking, had difficulty walking. And the stares, like the rude stares that people get, and I live in New Jersey, so people are very impatient. Like they'll just walk right on top of you. No patience at all to let someone have the right of way to walk when you see them having difficulty. Walk around them. You don't have to be right on top of them walking. And I wanted to say so badly, take a video and let it go viral. Do you feel that the stigma is still there with autism?
Oh, yeah, the stigma's still there. Then sometimes they think autism, they think, oh, no. Well, it doesn't have to be like that. I think that you have a right to, I believe, because of the worrisome, and that's not me being mean, that's just me being realistic. I think every parent worries about their child's future, and every parent, when they hear that word autism, they think about their future as well. And I get that, but I think we need to worry about that later and focus on the now. And I wish people would do that more often. And it's hard. I mean, I'm not a parent, granted. I'm not to say it's easy to do, but as someone on the spectrum, I'm also thinking, okay, we can't worry about the future right now if you're going to get through this at least. I get that you're worried about it, but again, worry about it later. Let's focus on the now. Let's at least get through today. And me getting
Good
home,
advice.
At least me getting home in the bed, or where you take the baby after you go home. I think it's in a crib. I'm not for sure on that, but you get where I'm going with it.
Yeah, that's good advice. I encourage caregivers in my group, live in the present, in the moment, because that's all that we have, but have your eye on the future. But I used to, worry about Josh's future. I'm still concerned, like, what will happen when I'm not here. But I can't drive myself crazy about it either. Josh is not able to drive. He does need support with, living, help with finances. Do you drive, Sam?
Oh, man. Honestly, it says I'm way too nervous, and I don't like when someone instructs me. What instructors do, and this is what anyone has to teach, is they have to sit right on your tail, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
basically like here, to the right, too much pressure, get out of my face. And if you have to teach me like that, fine, but it's not going to happen if we're going to teach me like that. That being said, though, I mean, I haven't driven, and there's days where I'm like, God, I just want to go on the wheel and see my grandparents. But for the majority, I'm like, okay, you know what? It is what it is. I'll find a way to go see my grandparents. I'll find a way to get to college. I mean, there's something out there that we can do as a family or outside of the small home I live in.
It was difficult for Josh. He couldn't pass the written test, and I took him to a occupational rehab to be tested for driving. And it was very difficult. And Josh would tell me himself, I can't pay attention. I'm too distracted. So I think it's great, really, when people know what they can and cannot do. I mean, that's being realistic to me. To say, you know what, I can't drive, I can't handle it. I'd rather someone say that than to risk their life and everyone else's and to drive when they're not comfortable. I don't like driving myself. I can't stand it, actually.
I haven't been able to, I mean, I cook eggs, but that's as far as I'll go, so that's as far as I can go. But I'd rather be honest and tell you I can't cook versus try and burn the house down accidentally.
Yeah. So you don't cook, Sam? Do you microwave? Can you microwave a frozen dinner?
Yep. But then I'm not thrown in the wolf house. I have to eat dinner with my parents.
Yeah, I had to ask you that because I love my son. Josh will not even use the microwave. And he'll put something in the oven for me and turn the oven on, and he'll shut it off. But he won't take it out, and he won't cook because he knows he's not comfortable. He's not comfortable with that. And, that's fine. I don't think, and I could say this because I am a parent, I don't think it's right to force people, your child, or for people to force other people to do things when the other person's not comfortable doing it. You know, they say, okay, you need to get out of your comfort zone, and that's fine with certain things. But when it has to do with safety and someone knows their limitations, I think it's best to respect that.
I agree.
And say, okay.
I also am a firm believer in stepping outside your comfort zone in certain situations, because if you live in a bubble for the rest of your life, you're done. You're missing out.
Right. I think that, you know, when I got out of my comfort zone by interviewing different people. I started interviewing just caregivers, and I started to interview people that are involved in business and different authors. You know, that's one thing. But I know my limitations when it comes to driving, and I will not drive where I'm not comfortable, because to me that's a safety issue. So that's a different area. I would like to ask you, Sam, what do you see yourself, well, you said on media, doing in the future? I could definitely see you in media. But
I'm not 100% sure myself. I have ideas, but I do believe in going out for your dreams, but I have doubt myself a lot, and this is one of the places where I doubt. So I want to start media, but my question is, are my ideas too big for my britches? And I'm hoping that's not the case. But I just, I'm not 100% sure in life because I haven't lived it yet. But I'm hoping to do them, granted. I want to, and I'm going to plan on it, hopefully. I just, like I said, it may be too big for my britches, and I just don't know if I can reach in, and I don't know if the changes that come with the job can be made.
Well, you're young yet. You're only 20, and look at all that you are doing. I mean, you're phenomenal. Look at what you have done and what you're doing. You're doing more than most 20-year-olds that don't even have Asperger's. You just are living your life. You are an inspiration, and you motivate people, and you're getting people to notice and to be aware of people who have autism, that they want to be treated just like everyone else. And I think you're a force now at 20, and I think as you get older, you're going to be even more of a force. You're fierce, Sam. And Sam's a good name for you, because to me, Sam is like strength, and you have a lot of strength, Sam.
I appreciate it.
You are welcome. What else would you like to tell the audience, Sam, about yourself?
Well, I guess something else I could share is that's a hobby of mine. Is I'm a big traveler. I love to travel, and with my job, I kind of get to sneak and good travel, because the thing about it, if I have autism, I wouldn't be able to go to Canada. I probably, and because if you told me 5 years ago I would be in Canada, I laugh in your face.
You do a lot of traveling with your speaking.
I do, but then again, I take leisure vacations. My latest leisure vacation probably was one of my favorites. It's probably not like my ultimate favorite. I got my ultimate favorite. I guess I can tell you that real quickly. My ultimate favorite vacation was the second time we went to Destin, Florida. I guess everything was just perfect there. And funny fact, we're not I don't think sometimes our families are sharpest tools in the shed. Sometimes we do things I think are nuts. And one thing we did was we drove into a hurricane, and it wasn't like an F5, it was just an F1, but still, it's a hurricane.
Wow, that would be my luck, for sure. I had.
Go ahead.
And are you I guess you are comfortable with traveling to different locations, or do you have to get readjusted, like to each area?
Surprisingly, no. I can readjust, take a look around the area, and boom, and then I'm comfortable. I will not travel out of the United States. That is, I'm very concerned about, and the reason why, kind of stupid, but it's really funny at the same time, but it's kind of serious, is I'm afraid I will break a law outside the United, like a law in, I don't know, South Korea that's okay in the United States, but not okay in South Korea. Next thing you know, I'm in a South Korean jail.
Yeah, I could understand that. I could definitely understand that, Sam. Look at that guy who got beaten up in North Korea. Otto, I forgot his last name. He did something, took down a poster or something. And, and as far as I know, he didn't have any disabilities. I guess he didn't think anything of it and didn't realize they have cameras all over there. And he went in jail and got beaten up, and he died. So I definitely understand.
Yeah, but as far as, in the United States, we're good to go. I definitely enjoy, seeing new places, tasting, I'm not saying new food, but, new foods that are in the United States that, some Nashville hot chicken that tastes different from here. That's why I said Nashville hot chicken, is because we recently went to Nashville, Tennessee for a little vacation, do some sightseeing. So that was really cool.
What state do you live in, Sam?
Indiana.
Oh, okay. I forgot. I think that traveling is really cool. I'm friends with someone who went to the same high school, as my son, and he has autism, and he's traveled. And this guy can tell me how many times he went somewhere, what year it was. Memory is just phenomenal. I'm lucky if I know what I did last week. Do you have a memory like that, like memorizing calendar? Like my son can memorize the calendar for the year.
Yeah, I have some memories that stick with that on vivid. And with that guy, you're talking about on the exact thing. I'm not that far. I'll tell you how many times I can probably tell you how many times I went there. I can't tell you, though, the exact date. I can probably tell you around the time. But Destin, each time, that's around fall, typically, and Nashville was around fall. We like to travel a lot in the fall or the summer, because fall you're kind of in the south because you're far away from the cold. Hate the cold, not a fan of that. And in the summer, because everywhere you go, it's going to be warm at least.
Yes. I have to ask you this, Sam. Would you consider writing a book at some point?
We kind of already are.
Good.
My mother's writing one called Journey, about this little girl who's on the spectrum and is what society calls obsessed with trees and trying to show them around the kids and telling how it's helped them out. So she's on the work with that. But after her, I'm probably going to go into my own book. But we're focusing on Journey right now.
Wow, that's cool. I'll tell you what, when your mom is done with that book and it gets published, you let me know, and I will promote the book on my show.
Okay.
You and your mom can. Yes, you and your mom can come on. And matter of fact, if your mom needs a publicist, let me know. I could recommend a couple.
Thank you. We're getting very close to it. We're in the stage of, okay, we got it done, manuscript, had people check it. We need to make a few changes. So that's where we're at right now. But after that, we get published very soon.
Oh, okay. I will, when I send the email, and it's your mom, it's on the email, I will let her know that I know a couple of publicists, and she's welcome to promote the book on my show. I would love to promote that, a book. I think people, you're welcome.
No. We appreciate it, but we kind of already have one set in stone. Future Horizons. We're going to use them because, one, Temple uses them a lot, and two, Temple has recommended to her. So I'm going to stick with that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I appreciate the offer, though.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I've heard of Temple Grandin like years ago, and when I saw the movie of Claire Danes portraying Temple, it was just fascinating. But what she created with that cow press and how she would comfort herself with that and how she saw the cows, and it was just amazing to me. I mean, a brilliant mind. Is she still teaching at University of Colorado?
I think so. That's what I've heard from her.
Yeah, I have to listen. I think tonight I want to listen to your interview with Temple because I read about her years ago, and very interesting. And folks, I'm sure not too many people have heard of Temple Grandin unless you're in the autism community, but Google her and check her out. Yeah.
You probably heard of her.
Yeah, and go listen to Sam Mitchell's podcast, Autism Rocks and Rolls, wherever you hear your favorite podcast. Sam, thank you so much for coming on Chatting with Betsy. I enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You are a fine young man, and you have your whole life ahead of you, and I say go for your dreams. You know, I think you're going to do really well, and you are going to change a lot of people's ideas, and I think you're just going to have an awesome future. That's how I feel.
Now, hold on. If I don't say this, I'll forget. Before you go, I kind of feel bad kind of sticking you down with the publicist, and I do appreciate. So I guess kind of as a gift, and just because I can tell you're very supportive, what's your shirt size?
What is my what?
Shirt size.
My size?
Yeah, your shirt size.
My shirt size. Oh, sorry. Medium.
Okay. Send me your address, please, and I'll mail you a shirt.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. I thought you said shirt size. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much. Folks, I want you all to check out Sam Mitchell. Where can they reach you, Sam?
People can reach me on autismrocksandrolls.com. That's the main website. But if you think I'm there probably. So Podbean, Spotify. But if you check that homepage, it has all like the media platforms that I'm on.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Sam. And keep up, as my dad would always say, keep up the good work. Folks, check out Sam Mitchell. AutismRocksandRolls.com is the website. Check out his podcast, Autism Rocks and Rolls, his nonprofit, Autism Rocks and Rolls Corporation, and get involved. I'm going to do a call to action right now. Get involved. Check out what Sam is doing. This is, I'm telling you, a fine young man at the age of 20, of what he's accomplished at only 20, and what he's going to do in the future. I can't wait to see it. And I'm just glad that I know you now, Sam. I should ask for your autograph now before you become famous. I think you're going to become famous one day. I just really, you just touched my heart, Sam. And I just wish you much success on all your future endeavors. And
say you wanted my autograph?
Yes.
Like that. After that mail, when that let me try that again. I can't speak today. I'll autograph the shirt for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just go ahead.
That's not a problem.
But folks, yes, check out Sam Mitchell and see what this young man is doing and what he's done and what he is doing. And like I said, that's phenomenal. You're phenomenal, Sam. And I want to thank everyone for listening. Please read the blog that Jeannie White, who is station manager, writes. It'll have information on how you could get in touch with Sam, where you could hear his podcast. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, CEO of Passion World Talk Radio, who makes this all possible. I want to thank you, the listeners, for listening. Please share this show so that other people can know about Sam. And the mission of my show, the reason why I do Chatting with Betsy, is to provide people with resources to have a better life, to know that there are other people out there who are just like Sam, just like me, and we all think we're alone, but we're not. We're not alone in how we feel. There's many others who feel the same way but are afraid to say so. And I just want to help people. That's my mission and vision. And when you share this show, you're helping me carrying on my husband's legacy, because I promised Matt I would carry on with my show and with my work. And it is free to subscribe to Chatting with Betsy. I have phenomenal guests, and you could subscribe on iHeart, Spreaker. You could also listen to my show on PassionateWorldTalkRadio.com, and you could even go on my host page there. And if you're looking for a support group, I forgot to say that in public service announcement, my support group has #Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement, and you're welcome to join. You do not have to be a caregiver, or you could just come and educate yourself. There's a lot of education going on in my group, and we're not just a group, we're family there. And that's how I feel about my support group. And I want to thank you all for your support. And as I always say at the end of my show, in a world where you could be anything, to please be kind, shine your light bright, because if we were all kind and shined brightly, it would be a much happier, brighter, peaceful world. And until we chat again, be safe. And thanks again, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Bye-bye now.